Hello, my name's April Sullivan. I'm 25 days post-op from having facial rejuvenation with Dr. Athre. I had a lower eye laser. I had a deep plane neck and facelift. I had a fat transfer. I had a lip lift. And I also had stem cell microneedling to the areas of my face that were not lasered, so this area, anything not under eye. And I am so happy with my results. And so I guess this is kind of like my testimonial to people who are out there who are on the fence about surgery. I had every fear you can imagine, and just everything. Like once I committed, I have been researching surgeons and this option for 8 years. 8 years ago, I had an upper blepharoplasty and a fat transfer. And it really did make a huge difference. It changed, and I felt really good about myself. But I also felt kind of like I was half done because I was starting to see jowling and the neck waddle. And so I kept telling myself, you just need to, you need to self-actualize. You need to get over this, And every year I would go visit a couple of surgeons and then decide, okay, it's not time yet. So this past year, I think it was September, I went to see Dr. Athre, and there was just something different in me this time. I decided that I only live once. I had spent 8 years trying to overcome the way that I was feeling about my appearance. And I didn't see that changing. And I also thought, well, you're still in the workforce. And you should go and do this now. You should go and do it while you're still out among the people. What does it matter? I mean, it's like if I'm sitting at home in a rocking chair with my grandkids, then I'm not going to nearly care as much, I don't think. Anyway, that may be a fantasy. I may always really care a lot. But I've always been subconscious about my appearance. Not horribly so. It hasn't really taken away from my life. But I did a lot of comparing myself to other women in my younger life. And what I've realized since having this surgery is that everybody can be pretty. Nobody, just because somebody else is pretty doesn't mean that I'm not, I've got this appreciation now for the features that I had when I was younger, that I was always picking at what was wrong. And now I'm like, oh, wow, your skin looks really nice and your cheeks are full and, you're, I don't know how to explain it. You kind of feel like it is very surreal. What I want to say about the actual surgery itself is, unless you're a person that has ultra anxiety about procedures or surgery, then that was the easiest part. I freak out with needles. Like for years at work, they have mandatory blood tests because we store chemicals, and I would have to lay down because I'm prone to fainting when I have a needle stuck in my arm. And so I was strangely calm the day of surgery. I hate to say it was a good time, but we really had a good time. I laughed a lot. Dr. Athre now knows my life story. Pretty much, everything he ever wanted to know and didn't want to know, he knows about me. And he was just so upbeat. We listened to Pitbull radio during the surgery. Cassie was fantastic as a nurse, so kind, and just, there was nothing. I wasn't afraid. Recovery is not a cakewalk. It was not a cakewalk for me. I was not in pain, but you're just uncomfortable. And there is a lot of mental, for me, a lot of being afraid that something's not supposed to be the way it is. Knowing on one side that, yes, it's logical that you're going to bruise and swell, but when you're watching that happen in the mirror and you've had all this great hope and anticipation for how you're going to look, well, you don't get that. You see kind of the first 3 days before the swelling and the bruising kicks in, you kind of get an idea of what you're going to look like, but then that takes over. And so that really colors the experience for several days. And so I was in a support group on Facebook for women recovering from facelift procedures, and that was life-saving for me. To just, it was really just so wonderful for me to see these women helping each other, supporting each other, calming each other, that we don't know each other, and we're helping each other out, and also connected with a couple of other ladies from Dr. Athre's office. And so that's been wonderful because no one else knows what this experience is like except the people who are going through it. And I know there are some people that are not fazed by the kind of swelling, what have I done? They don't experience that, but I certainly did. And I knew from my previous experience with a procedure that I would get through it. And that was kind of like the reason when I was making my decision, I was just like, my husband is an educator. He's a school teacher. I don't make a lot. I make about the same as he does. So that can give you an idea where our income is. And so all these thoughts went through my head about how selfish I was being, the wonderful vacation we could take, we could remodel our bathroom, all these things. And finally, I just thought, you know what? You need to do this for yourself. And when it's all said and done, you're not going to regret it. You know that. It's going to be kind of a difficult period while you're recovering, but you'll get through that. And so I did. And now I can say that if you're on the fence and those are some of the things that you're worried about, based on my experience, I'm very happy I did it. And also, I don't want to throw shade on anyone who doesn't believe, who wants to age gracefully or naturally. And that's every individual's choice. I'm not going to judge anyone. I did this for me. This was for me. And I'm just so thankful. God, I'm going to cry. So thankful to you, Dr. Athre, because I really think that my life is going to be different now. And it's not necessarily because I look younger. It's because of how I feel on the inside. So thank you so much. And I'll see you soon. Bye.